Now we're going to factor trinomials whose leading coefficient is not 1. There is not a shortcut on this one. So we have to do the whole process. If you look down or even compare these steps with what we had before in the last section, you'll see they're the exact same thing. All the way down. So I'm going to go on down to the example and start working. It is in descending order. There's not a common monomial, so steps 1 and 2 have been completed. Step 3, remember we multiply A times C, that would give me 72. So I make my list of all the factors of 72 all the way down, and then once I make that list, I turn right around and I sum them. You can start summing as you go, and if you'll notice, the sums do decrease. So if you know you need a number and it's going to be a whole lot lower than that, so it might be a while before you get down there. But regardless, 6 times 12 not only gives me that product of 72, but it also gives me a sum of 18, which I need if you remember in step 6. So then we break up middle only. That little sign, that little arrow there is just indicating I'm pulling down my sign with my starting the second group, but we pull out a common monomial. So I can pull out a 3x from this first group, leaving me 3x plus 2. A plus 4 comes out of the second group, leaving me 3x plus 2. Now I've got the same binomial, so I pull it out, and in my second parentheses I do my leftovers. This is multiplication because I'll need to FOIL this to check myself. Okay? So now I've got a whole lot of problems. So let me get to my next sheet. Now, like before, I want you to pause me, see if you can do those, because I'm going to go through these as quickly as possible using my steps. So, descending order, nothing common, so 3 times 2 gives me 6. Break it up, 1 times 6, that does give me 7. I could do the 2 and 3, but like I said just a tad earlier, if you come up on that those two factors that when multiplied give you this and when added gives you the middle, stop. There's no reason to go further. So let's break up the middle. Out of my first group, I can factor out an x. Out of my second group, I can factor out a plus 2. And if I divide both of those, I get 3x plus 1. My parentheses match. And I write my leftovers in the second parentheses. FOIL that, and you should come back up to the original. Pause me. Try the next one. 5 times 1 gives me 5. 1 times 5 added together gives me a 6. I need a negative, so I'm going to change both signs. Now I'm ready. 5x squared minus 1x minus 5x plus 1. First group comes out an x. Second group comes out a negative. It has to factor, since when I can multiply this gives me 5, and when I add it, it gives me that middle term number, then it has to factor. So I said this, gosh, a couple of videos ago, a 1's common to everything, so factor out a negative 1. Parentheses match my leftovers. And if you'll notice, the only way I can get a positive 1 is if I either have positive 1 times positive 1 or negative 1 times negative 1. The next couple. 2 times negative 3 is a negative 6. That is it right there. So use it to break up middle. And you might double check before you head on. See if you add those two together, it'll give you your original middle term. So at 2x, x minus 1, a plus 3, x minus 1. Always FOIL. I've factored so long, I'm fairly sure that that is totally correct. So you need to FOIL it, double check it. 3 times negative 7 is a negative 21. Negative 1 times 21. That's what I need, but my signs need to be opposite. And the parentheses must match. Let's see if you come up with that one. The next one. It is in descending order, nothing common. 6 times 5 is 30. I sometimes don't do the first 2 steps because I look at it, I know, but for you, always check that. 1 times 30, 2 times 15. That's the pairing I need, except my signs have to be opposite. Brother. Three times negative 20, it'd be a negative 60. Negative 1 times 60, negative 2 times 30, negative 3 times 20. And if you start summing, you'll see that the sums are decreasing. I still need to go a little bit further. Negative 4 times 15. That's exactly what I need. I wish I could remember to move this up. X squared minus 4x. 15x minus 20. So there's those. I do have a few more. And these are a little bit more difficult, but nothing that you can't handle. They just have more variables. Let me see if I can refocus this. That's better. Okay. I've got more than one variable, and in an earlier video only focused on one variable to see if it's in descending order. I've got x squared, x to the first, no x. So it's in descending order with respect to x. So 2 times 3 gives me 6. So that's the 2 numbers I need, except my signs need to be the exact opposite. See, an x can come. Minus 3y. Parentheses match. Factor those out. Write your leftovers. And this one. Alright, I see y to the 4th. Oh, y cubed, y squared. We've got something in common here. It is in descending order, but my largest exponent I need to start play with is a y squared. So let's factor out a y squared, since that's my smallest. That'd be a 15y squared plus 26y plus 7. So let me pull this down. Keep it on hold. 15 times 7. Okay. Oh, 105. So I know 1 times 105. 2 will not go. 3 will go. There's a little trick with 3. If you sum up the digits of the number, and if the sum's divisible by 3, then the number's divisible by 3. So 105 divided by 3 be 35. Need to go a little bit further. Let me see about 105 divided by 4. Nope, 105 divided by 5. Okay, so I think that's the pair I need, because it does give me 26. Get my calculator out of the way. That will give me a 3y. 5y divided by itself is a +1. Second group sign comes down. A 7 will be factored out. My parentheses do match, so 3y plus 1, 5y plus 7. There it is. Next group. It's in descending order with respect to x, nothing common, 5 times a negative 27. Negative 135. 2 will not go. 3, let me see, that is 4 plus 5 would be 9, so it should work. I divide by +3, which I'm going to have to change my signs anyway. X comes out of the first group. A negative 9y. So that divided by that will give me a positive 5x. That divided by negative 9y would give me a positive 3y. Parentheses match. And I'm hoping that you have been pausing me and doing these as we go. Descending order with respect to x, nothing common. So 3 times negative 30 is a negative 90. Negative 3 times 30. 4, I think, does go. Nope, I'm wrong about that. How about 5? Yep. So, negative 5 and 18. 5 times 8 is 0, 4. Yep. So, add it together. That's a positive 13. I need a negative. And it's not legal to change just one sign. You can't make it work. It has to work. So that does in fact give me my negative 13xy. So out of this group, an x, a negative 6y. Remember, we're just factoring out a common monomial. So that would give me a 3x plus 5y. There it is. Last two. Anytime you see these directions, there's a lot of stuff that's going to be coming out, more than likely. On the test, probably the directions you're going to have is just factor completely. So you always have to check. Now I know it's in descending order, but I see that a 2 is common to all, as well as an x. So it'd be 3x squared plus 2x minus 5. So let me lasso pull down. 3 times negative 5 is a negative 15. And that's the pairing I need. Now that group, I see a 3x. This group of 5. So let me join those up with the other one. Okay. Next group, 12, 34, 14. They're all an even number, so I know a 2 will go. And 2 into 34 would be 17. 17 is what's considered prime, so there's no other factors I could use. So I know a 2 and a y. So 6x squared minus 17xy plus 7y squared. Let me lasso. 6 times 7, that'd be a 42. 3 times 14. Use your calculator if you need to, but that's my 17, except my signs must be changed. Minus y. A negative 7y. So that's going to give me a positive 2x negative y. Parentheses to match. So hopefully you did practice those steps a lot from the last section, because it definitely helps here. So you've got some homework to do and then a quiz, so get working on it. Thank you.